Alrighty, everybody, welcome back. I did off camera collect a bunch of resources because today we're going to be making quite a few things. These blocks here I mined the last episode make redstone when smelted, so I've been smelting them up and to get redstone because we are going to end up making something with them here in a minute. I also got a little bit of iron, not too much, but some good for what we're doing today. So first things first, I'm going to need a piece of paper and you're going to need some sand. If you put them in a crafting table like this, horizontally like this, one sand, one paper, you actually get sandpaper. Very funny and ironic. I do know that's hilarious. Second thing we're going to do is you need 1 quartz, and you will need 8 redstone, like this. Doing that, which I'm going to make 3, looks like I have enough to make 2, missing 1, but you will get rose quartz, unpolished rose quartz to be precise. So I'm just going to take one of the 3 I had in there, because that was some I mined out. And again, 8 like this, and 1 rose quartz in the corner. It doesn't matter what corner, I believe, but I just do it in the top corner, makes it easier. Unpolished rose quartz. Now, as you can see, it's rose quartz, right? But it's not polished, meaning we can't really use it. So, there's multiple ways to do this. If we take the sandpaper in our offhand and hold the rose quartz in our main hand, we can polish it. If we throw it on the ground, without the rose quartz in my hand, empty hand, throw it on the ground, we get rose quartz. Or we can do the reverse and put the rose quartz in our offhand and the sandpaper in our main hand, and it will polish it. And as you can see, it gives us the sandpaper does have durability, as you can see. There is better versions. Later on, you can crush down a diamond and get some diamond sandpaper, which lasts longer. And I do believe you can put mending on the sandpaper, if I remember correctly. Now, we will need 1 sand for later, and we're going to take 2 sand, put them together in the crafting table, like so, and it gives us snad. Now, snad is redstone type level sand. I'm making this as later on I'm going to be using this because if I toggle it on and off, I can quickly accelerate the growth of mini plants. Right? So, later you're going to need 1 sand, and we can go ahead and put this rose quartz away as we do not need it. And you're going for this next thing though, you're going to need 1 iron, which we're going to press into a sheet real quick. Which, for those of you who don't remember, if you open your inventory, hover over the item, and hit Control Q. Remember, hover over the item, hit Control Q. Then, with the hand crank, you just hold the right click, activates the hand crank. Costs your hunger, but it's a good source of early rotational energy. Now, with 1 sheet and 1 of this new item here you see in my hand, which is polished rose quartz, the new item right there is polished rose quartz, and that in this orientation here, that will give you an electron tube, which you put there. We're going to put right there. Now, we are making something, this is why I'm doing this, but for this you will also need 2 buckets, which means you will need 6 more iron, so you'll need 7 iron total for this, okay? This 1 sand that I said to hold on to, here's me attempting to burn grass, realizing you can't, and then having to put the grass away. But the 1 sand I said to hold on to, you're going to go ahead and smelt up real quick, and we're going to turn it to glass. So we can get that later, so you can see what we're going to do with that later. Now, we only needed 1 polished rose quartz for now, but we will need 2 later, so that's why we need 3. So next thing we need is we're going to go gather a bucket of lava and a bucket of water. It will have to be buckets if you're crafting this with me. So make sure you know that. You can't use the modded bucket from Just Dire Things. It has to be a regular vanilla bucket. Ah, cool. I missed a villager when I was gathering up my villagers earlier, so I will grab this one real quick. And then meet you guys back at the camp. We're gonna go slow. Alrighty, so I went /home, got back here, and put the villager in there. And with this water and lava bucket, you will put the water here on the left, the lava here on the right. I'm going to leave the glass in there for now. We're going to grab a piece of wood. We're going to strip this piece of wood. Put it out here, we're going to strip it. Then we're going to grab some brass, which I don't see in here. I do have 4 diamonds though, that's cool. I forgot that I had those. There we go, 26. I put it in with the create stuff, makes sense. But if you right click the strip log, you get a brass casing. Just like andesite, you can click it with the brass, and you can also shift right click it with the wrench to pick it up. And now we have brass casing, which is going to go at the bottom. The next thing we're going to craft is drill, which I'm not going to craft on camera, but as you can see, it's 1 casing, 1 machine, and 1 iron pick, which I'm just going to use the one I have here. And I'm going to craft up the rest of those resources real quick, and I'll bring you back. The reason being is we're going to make this, the mechanical generator, which, as you can see, if you pause, creates cobblestone equivalent to the amount of stress we feed it. It will only make cobblestone, but it's essentially infinite cobblestone, which, if you know, when we make farms later, cobblestone is going to be very important. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove this ferrite core here, is we're going to pick up our just dire thing to do, which it only takes a shovel to pick up, so you can pick it up with your hand. If I don't drop it, I'll be right back. Alrighty guys, I'm back. So, the next thing to do is, yeah, that's right, we're going to leave. I didn't do the drill yet, but if you guys crafted the drill, good for you, you got the generator. I'm going to actually go ahead and make the next level of just dire things do here, which I'm checking the recipe. Yep, I was right. The only thing I don't have out of this so far is the copper mechanisms, but that is pretty easy to make. It just takes andesite mechanism, 2 sheets, 2 pipes, which I will show you how to make, and some rubber. But in order to get the rubber, and you're going to want to go ahead and make 3 sets of these, and as we still need to make a machine, an andesite machine for the drill. So, in order to get that, we need to go find kelp. So, what I'm going to do is take this compass, 4 saplings, I'm going to put the compass in the middle, and the 4 saplings in the corners here. Wait, I forgot one thing. We need the wood. So it doesn't matter what wood, doesn't have to match, but I'm going to go ahead and make it match and grab 4 spruce logs. 4. Or I put it all in there, and there's 4. And then we're going to put them here. Nope, not the corners. Here in like a diamond shape. So your log is going to go in the middle bottom, the side, the top middle, the other side, the 4 saplings in the corner, and then you're going to put a compass in the middle. And it will actually give you a nature's compass. Now, a nature's compass is cool because a nature's compass allows us to find any biome we were looking for. And in this case, I'm looking for a cold ocean, which you just select to start, and it looks like it is to our right. So I'm just going to go this way and start walking, and I'll meet you guys back when I get. Alrighty, as you can see, we are here. There's the cold ocean right in front of us. The next thing I'm actually going to do is find our next biome, which is going to be a bamboo jungle, which is not too far behind us. So we're going to get this first. So we're going to jump down here, and we're actually going to collect a bunch of kelp. And then we're going to start traveling to that jungle, as we are going to need some bamboo later on as well. So let me mine this up, and I'll beat you guys back here. Be ready for a timeline. Okay, now that we're done there with the thing, with the mining out the kelp here, we're going to actually head off in this direction, follow the compass, and I'm going to go find a bamboo jungle. I will meet you guys there when we harvest out some bamboo. Well, I died, so let's just grab my grave and go back to walking. Hate when that happens. Luckily, we are almost there. We're only 900 blocks away, so. I think that's enough. I'm gonna bring you guys back when I get there, as it is still 500 blocks away, just under 450. So I'll meet you guys back when I get there. Alrighty, guys, we're back. As you can see right in front of us here, there is bamboo. We will be needing this too. Um, for some minor things, mostly like pulp, but this is honestly, with some of these mods we have, like that snad I was talking about, and the fact that we have just those things in here, this is one of the best wood farms we can make is an infinite bamboo farm, and we can use bamboo for almost everything in Create without having to set up some complex farm. I can make it short, small, compact. It'll run every 2 ticks. Now, the next thing I'm going to find why I'm over here getting it, as I'm not going to get all these, is I'm going to find a lush cave. Ooh, we're actually only 90 blocks out from it, so this will be one of the easiest biomes we found today. As we will be in need of quite a few glowberries, specifically, but I'm going to see what I can mine out from there. Uh, so, anyway, what would be your favorite wood type? Vanilla wood type, of course. But if you've played mods before and you have used some mods, what would be your favorite wood type that was introduced through mods as well, and what mod introduced it? I'm curious what everyone's opinion on their favorite wood is. So please let me know in the comments where we find this. It looks like it's somewhere around here, possibly. Oh, we're gone. Right here. So we just mine straight down. We'll use the pick to do this. Now remember, if you hold shift while holding the grave key and then you scroll wheel, you can set the different types. And in this case, I'm using small tunnel. And now we're here in Lush Cave. So remember, grave key, shift, scroll wheel, and you can select the different types. And it looks like we found lapis. That's going to be needed in the future, so we'll grab some of that. And we're just going to mostly grab these sweet berries over here, but I'm going to grab a couple of these azaleas here too. And maybe some moss. But remember, shapeless. So remember, scroll wheel, shift, and we're going to go back to shapeless. Shapeless will allow me to, when I hold it down, mine everything out. See? Like that. As you saw, we have zinc, so our pick should be able to mine out the zinc here in a sec. That's more important than the copper. But we're going to grab that anyway. Couple azalea trees, but mostly the flowering ones, as I like the look of the flowering leaves especially. And a bunch of these glowberries. As many as I can harvest. You'll see why later. So anyway, I'm going to time lapse the rest of this. So alrighty, yes, I did defeat that zombie, but let's go. I collected a bunch of resources, so now we're gonna finish up this drill here, this cobblestone mine with this drill, and we have a couple of things we're gonna be doing as well. Mainly finishing up this blaze goo with the copper mechanisms as well. So we'll start there because we do want to get into a little bit of ours, as I want to find the stronghold soon. Just so I know where it is, I save a waypoint there. Now, first things first, we need to finish this first, we need to make rubber, which means we are actually going to need 8 kelp per we want to make. I have 53, so keep in mind it's 8 per bucket of water. I'm just going to go ahead and use the bucket of water in here. Plus a bucket of water. You don't need the full bucket. You only need 250 millibuckets, so that's a fourth a bucket. So you need a fourth a bucket and 8 kelp per you make, and you will actually receive 4 rubber. So 8 kelp gives you 4, so you get half the total you put into it. As you can see, I got 16 rubber. Now, I don't want to have to use this bucket of water again for a bit because needed in my crafting recipe. So I'm actually going to smelt up some of this barite core. And you need 4 of it. And that glass we smelted up earlier. If you remember earlier this episode, we smelted glass. You're going to need that. So 1 glass goes in the middle, and then 4 in this diamond shape like this. You will actually get a fluid canister, which is from Just Dyer's Things, and is a bucket that can hold 8 buckets of fluid. In this case, 8 buckets of water. That's not recovering, so let's fix that. And we'll just take from whatever it is recovering like this. There we go. 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 8 right there. So it makes it a lot easier when you're doing repetitive crafts like this rubber here. Now later on we will have refined storage that can do the bucket placing for us. But right now, this is pretty good. As you see, I only have 5 kelp, so I can't finish that off. I have half a bucket left. But that gave us 24 rubber. Now we just take this, and you can't put it in a blast furnace, as it's not ore. So we put it in a regular furnace. I'm going to put a door here for my safety. Alright. And it will give us cured rubber, which, when that's done, I'll cut back and let you and show you it. Alrighty, as you can see, you smelt it up in the furnace, you get regular cured rubber. And we only need 4 for now, as we are going to be finishing up and making these mechanisms. So one of the other things we're going to need is pipes and sheets, which means I need to smelt up some rubber. And we will use the old andesite mechanisms, so we will also have to craft them. If you remember correctly, it's 2 andesite, 2 shafts, but we're going to need some andesite, some shafts to make some cogs, and it's 4 cogs, like so. Make the mechanism. So put planks and shafts here. 4, 4, that gives us 4 cogs. Then we just need 2 of these shafts here, 2 of these andesite, and an additional one with one of these logs here you see in my inventory that we're going to strip right here. That was peat dirt, sorry, not logs. One log is out now. Like an casing, remember. And boom. Now we surround this casing with this casing in the middle. And the corners, it's the cogs. You like so. We're going to go ahead and craft up, smelt up some copper. I don't know why I didn't finish that craft, because we need it. But anyway, 4 in the corner, 4 cogs in the corner. There you go. Andesite alloy in the middle. 2 shafts to the left and right, and the andesite alloy on the top and bottom. And you will get andesite mechanisms. So you need 2. We'll need the andesite. We will need the rubber. There is more rubber here for later. I'm gonna get that going. So. Alrighty, so here I am. I've made up this drill here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to finish this cobblestone generator, which will be for later when I make a farm, as cobblestone's going to need a lot, so I went ahead and made that, and I had enough resources to do it. Next, we're going to make up some sheet. And we're going to make up exactly 2. We're going to make up exactly 4 sheets. See, it does cost hunger to use the will. There we go. Now that we have those sheets, we can remove the buckets. It does allow us to keep the buckets. Now remember, it did have to be buckets. It couldn't be those food canisters. Now we're going to make up the pipes, which is 2 sheets on the left, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and 3 of these rubber in the middle. And it'll give us 8 pipes per. Now, using 2 of those pipes, we're going to put 1 to the left and 1 to the right. We're going to take the original primal gel goo we made originally, put it in the middle. Oh, no, we're not. Sorry. We're going to put the mechanisms there, because we're only making mechanisms. Then we're going to put 2 sheets, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom, and 4 rubber in the corners. Now, and that gives us copper mechanisms. Now, we are going to put 2, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. That gel, now we'll get to the gel, in the middle. Right? The 2 remaining polished rose quartz we made earlier, and if you got the rose quartz, I don't know why I'm putting rubber here. I have them. I did collect them earlier. If you went to the Nether, you need blaze rods. So when you're in the Nether collecting that quartz, you probably did kill some blazes. You're going to need those. And you're also going to need a block of copper. Which I do have somewhere, I just don't remember where I put them, so let me find them and I'll bring you back. Alrighty, found them. They were in my backpack. You will need 4 of those in the corners, and this will give us our Primal Gel goo, and it will turn it into our Blaze Bloom goo, which is just a higher, better tier of the goo, and we can even make a bunch of more unique recipes out of it. Now, to activate this, you will actually need a block of copper per uses, so we're going to make up one of those, and it actually eats brass. So, the astute of you will notice I didn't. So we're going to make a block of brass. It will need a block of brass to feed off of, to do the new recipes. The old recipes will still work. But feed it a block of copper and it'll eat it. And this only makes one thing, and that one thing is blaze gold. Or, which turns into blaze gold. Now, the student of you will notice why I smelt this up, because we have to smelt it up. We're going to use a blast furnace, it's faster. The astute of you will notice that I did not use that pick. I did have enough iron to not need that pick. I could make another pick, so I just made another pick. So we're just gonna, even though I said I was gonna use that pick. So we're just gonna mine up this copper here. Toss this ore in, I'll be right back. Alrighty, while those smelt up, I did went ahead and made another snan and put it down. That's where the bamboo's growing there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make a glowberry. I'm going to start growing these glowberries we found at the bush, as I only have 10 of them. So we're going to use these posts I left in from earlier. And we're going to plant glowberries on them. Like so. Now, I could stop them from growing, but I'm going to let them grow. Using some shears. And then we're going to toss the rest in here. Now, they doesn't need water, but it doesn't matter if the water's in there. 2 glowberries, every 2, will make a fourth a bucket of Lumazine. I'll get into why I'm needing some Lumazine here in a minute. But we're going to need some bone meal. Because, as you can see, none have grown. So we're going to get some bone meal. Hence why we made the bone meal farm earlier, if you remember. Because I can't, watch, unless it's a full bucket, I can't pick it up. And we need a bucket for this next part, as we are getting into ours now. A little bit. As again, I would like to get the power, but I have to do a lot of this to get the power. And I would like to find that, I don't have to do this to get the power, but I want to make it easier when I do stuff, so. But I would like to use, ours has an interesting way of finding the stronghold, so you don't have to use Ender Pearls. Or, Eyes of Ender. So, we already got 1 in there. Just toss these 14 in there. And this will give us a bucket. 2 buckets actually. As you see, it doesn't matter the water's in there because we don't need water for this crafting recipe. It's just going to mix up 2 berries. And it's going to give us an additional 1/4 a bucket. Now, in order to get into this, we will need to make a spout. Which is 1 rubber, 1 copper casing, and 1 machine. Copper casings are easy as you just right-click strip wood with copper. The machine is going to be a little bit harder as you need 8 of those mechanisms around a copper casing, the copper mechanisms, similar to how we did with the andesite. So, let me show you that. We take the wood we have on us, strip it, hit it with copper like normal, take it up with the shift right click with the wrench like normal, we get a copper casing. Now, we only have 2 of those copper mechanisms, so we're going to have to make more of those copper mechanisms. To be precise, we need 2 more sets. So you're going to need 4 more pipes and 8 more rubber. And you will also need 2 more of those andesite mechanisms, which I have 3 from making that one. And we will need 4 more sheets, which I don't have right now, so I'm going to go make up those. I'll be back after I make them up. Alrighty, as you can see, I have those copper sheets now. So we're going to put 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top, and then all we need to do is take the 8 and a ring like this, surrounding copper casing, and you get a copper machine. Now, we will still need another copper casing, so we're going to make up another copper casing, after I eat, of course. Here it is, that's my wood, I was looking for that, looked right at it, strip it, casing, boom. Now, we need that and 1 rubber, so you take casing, put it on the left, take your machine, put it in the middle, and take the rubber, put it on the right, we get a spout. We will also need a depot, and a fluid hatch, a fluid hatch is just a drain and a copper ingot. So, and a fluid hatch is another copper machine put into a stone cutter. So you will need to make a stone cutter, and you get 3 of these. Which, for you guys who don't know, here's your stone cutter. It's 3 stone and an iron. So I'll be back. I'll make up one of those and meet you back. Alrighty, I've made up that stone cutter. So all you're going to do is take this extra machine I made up, item drain, put it in the stone cutter, select item drain. You can also make tanks out of this, as you can see. But we want the drain right now, so we're select that. You get 3 of them. Now we're going to take 1 of those drains, if you remember, and a copper ingot, and we will get the fluid hatch, as well as 1 of these. And I don't know why I did alloy here, as we know that's a hand crank. You want a casing and an alloy, not a mechanism and an alloy. So we can put the mechanism back. We want a casing, which I have the wood on me. Don't need to grab another one. So, and an alloy. Make an alloy andesite casing. Then, with this andesite casing that we just made up and an alloy, put in our crafting grid here, like this. we get a depot. I'm going to put this, see the spout? I put it too low. So first put the depot, then if we shift right click the depot, after I grab the spout with the spout, or we can just place it with a 1 block space like this. I didn't shift right click, so next thing we're going to do is we take any old planks, which I have 7 oak and a few spruce, and we're going to set them on there. Take our bucket of Lumazine and fill this that we got from the mixer over here, and we're going to fill this hatch. And Lumazine sprayed on planks will give us archwood planks from ours. Which we will need for Ars Nouveau quite a bit of. Hence why I'm starting them now. And we did find source gems in a chest, that's why that mission's passed. So now you see we passed quite a bit of it. I do want to get into power here, the alternator, which needs these crafters. Because I'm trying to get down in iron rods, which we're also going to need a rolling mill for. Which isn't that hard to make, as you can see right here. It's just these resources. To make an alternator. To get the rods, you just roll 1 ingot in there and you get 2 of them, so it's pretty nice. And we're also going to need a straw. Now the reason why we're making a straw is we need bamboo or paper to do it too, but I got plenty of bamboo, so. Because if we give a blaze burner a straw, we can feed it lava. So let me make up those 2 things, and I will meet you back here. Alrighty, so I've made it up. Rolling mill, we're going to put it here, and it only takes 128, so the remaining of our SQ from the Starbunk wheel here is plenty power for it. Now, we are, like I said, we are going to start getting into the alternator and stuff for now, which is getting into power, but we're going to start with the straw for the bamboo, as we can easily get a hold of lava. It makes it a lot easier than like burning coal and stuff. I do believe you have to toss it in if it goes in. It's easier to use a hopper, so I'll probably hook it up to a hopper, because as you can see, you have to like aim it just right. There you go. And over time, it becomes a straw. Give this to a blaze burner, and now we can feed it lava and any other burnable liquid that we can get our hands on. So for instance, over here, there's lava. And if you remember, I did turn on infinite source. So, put it there now. We don't want to put it there. I wasn't going to put it there. So what we do is, if we just have 2 buckets, place an opposite corner like water, lava can now become a source. Like water. So we can just pull from it infinitely, and then we feed this to a thing, and as you can see, it can take up to 400 millibuckets or 4 buckets to heat up. Now, and each bucket can burn for about, I believe, 5 minutes if I remember correctly, or 15 minutes. It's somewhere in there. So it'll burn for a while. Now, we're going to take 4 zinc, we're going to smelt them up. as we're going to make some deployers. But to that we need zinc hand. But zinc hands are 4 of these, 2 alloy, and another mechanism. Now the reason why we are making these is, as you can see, there's the recipe. That's what I'm showing you. Now the reason why we're making these is we're about to get into this, so we're going to need 4 per. So we're going to need 16. Now the reason why we need 16 is we need to make deployers for each of these crafting recipes. As remember, we do have those processing recipes for the mechanisms, which will make it cheaper. Now remember the alloy we made earlier with just the things? This is where it's going to come in handy here. I'm going to go ahead and smelt up the rest of the zinc. We're over here. Anyway, I'll be back as I'll show you. We're going to be making quite a few deployers. So we're going to go out 4 deployers. Now next thing I'm going to show you is if we take 6 of these rubber, like this, you will get 8 mechanical belts. We can do this with kelp too, but you're not going to get as many. Here I'll show you. You only get 1 for 6 kelp, whereas if we do the process of making the rubber, see? But if we do the process of making the rubber here with the same layout with the rubber instead, we actually get 8. So it's actually better to do the rubber for this. Now to make these deployers, you first need to make that zinc hand I showed you. Here. 1 mechanism, 2 alloy, and 4 zinc sheets, like so. And then to make the deployers, you will need to take 1 andesite machine, again, make another one, a casing, and a hand. You will need 4 of these. So make sure you make enough resources. I'll be back. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is I want you to lay down 2 shafts. 1 here, 4 shafts total, with a 2 block gap in between this one. Right click with your belt, right click the other one with your belt. This creates a belt. Then this one over here will only have a 1 block gap. Do the same. Now, mechanical press. You will need a, no, not drill, press. Belt. Oh, we're going to look at the belt anyway. Okay. So there's a bunch here that, I don't know why I'm looking at belts, okay? But anyway, you also need 3 presses. If you remember how to make a press, and it's going to be like this. Now, to start, what you need to do is you need to put a deployer here, here, and here. Now, if you have your wrench, you say you can keybind. Mine is Control R. Or you can right click the bottom, like so, and it rotates it. If you right, depending on where you right, it depends on spin. But I have a keybind, again, for my wrench. So while on the wrench, if I hit Control R, I can rotate it. But as you see, it doesn't go the right direction. But if you rotate the bottom, boom, it'll be fine. At the end of these deployers, you want to put a press. So that's 3 deployers and 1 press for the first one. Because you see, the first recipe for the mechanisms, doesn't matter which mechanisms, takes 3 deployers and a press. For the machines, you're going to need a press here, a press at the end, and in the middle, you need to put a deployer. This is why we need 4 deployers and 3 presses. Again. Now, remember, you can rotate these so they face each other. like so. In the corner there, you put a gearbox. So that way the power transfers from one set to the other. Um, as I plan on sharing. Now this. Anyway, there is one called a bell. It's something I'm looking for. I can't remember the name of it. Connector. A belt connector is what I want to call it. I don't think that's what it's called. But anyway, it allows one belt's power to be transferred over to the next one seamlessly. Let me find it, and I'll be back to show you what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so another thing you will need in this is we will actually need some bolts. We're going to need 3, which means we're going to need 6 sheets and 3 barrels. Like this will give us a vault. Now, this vault, I'm going to grab a temporary block real quick to put down. These archwood will work. We're going to put 1 block up, and this vault acts like a chest that extends out. I believe each one we put down can hold 9 stacks of items. So this single vault here, 18, can hold 20. Yep, it can hold 27 items. Now, what I was talking about here is a transmission chain. If we put this down here, the direction that this belt goes, this other belt will go continuingly, which is very useful. Now, to power this, we're just going to put a Starbunker well there. Now, it's going the wrong way, so we're going to shift, right-click to take it up, then while holding shift, we're going to right-click to put it down, and it actually transfers the direction. And this is enough power for both of those belts. Now, as you can see, I do have 3 here, and I did put a gearbox down. Because the gearbox will transfer power both directions. Now, we need to hold shift when putting this down, because see, if we don't, it breaks, and we want to have it on both sides. I want it on both sides for symmetrical reasons. Now, 3 isn't enough, so I will need to get another one. Again, watch, if I just, there we go, it doesn't matter. But the power that transfers through, thanks to this gearbox, the power that transfers through one can transfer automatically to the other. So I'm going to go make a couple more Starbunker wheels. I'll be back. We also will need some of these. Here, I'll show you. Funnels. We'll need some funnels. We'll need 1 of these, which you can see is made with 1 rubber, 1 alloy, and a side alloy. And we will need some brass funnels, which needs precision mechanisms. So we'll have to make up some of those too. Right, there's precision mechanisms. As you can see, brass, 1 electron tube, and 1 gold sheet will make 2 precision mechanisms. So you're actually going to get less than you would making the copper and andesite, which you can get 8 using their recipe, or 4 if you do it by hand still. So, I'll make up some of those here in a minute. I'm also going to bone mill some of these glowberries here. To make some more of that archwood so that we can later on get onto Ars Nouveau as well. So I'll be right back. Alrighty, so now we're going to make some of those funnels. So we need one andesite alloy and one rubber for the andesite funnels. And every one we craft will give us two. Put alloy here, rubber right below it, and we'll get two andesite funnels. Now we will need one here, leaving the vault. As this is what, when we make the machines, it's a loop. So over here, we'll also need one on our chest. So we're going to use the other one for over here. I'm going to get a barrel and put it right here, and it'll automatically distribute along the belt. And boom. And we can also get a chest over here to catch it, too. So, meet me back. I'm going to craft those andesite ones. Not those andesite ones, those brass ones. And I'll meet you back. Alrighty, so we're back. As you can see, I put down a barrel with an andesite funnel going in there. And I have set up barrels atop with chutes to automatically feed into each of the properties needed. If you want to know what we're using here and you don't pause to look, you can look on the quest board. It'll tell you exactly what we're using. Now we're just going to throw some casings. It's the exact same thing as the recipe, but you're going to use one instead of all of them. And it's going to come out, and I'm going to wait over here because I didn't put a barrel down. As you can see, it's going to give us 8 per craft instead of 4 for half the resources. So I'm going to stand here in a minute and meet you back. Alrighty, so I made 56 of these. If we toss them in here, as I've already put the resources in, we're going to put about that many in there. Oh, I just realized that is the wrong thing. I need to put the fluid pipes in there. Or the electron tubes for the... It's making copper, so... Hang on a second. We need to redo this. Throw the incomplete ones back in. So yeah, don't mess them up. Now we have it set up for copper, and it will pull them through. So we can actually throw the incomplete copper back in. Let it run through and make them. And a couple more for the copper. To make a couple more copper as well, so I have them in the future. And then we'll make those chutes. Those funnel chutes, those tunnels. So... Alrighty. So, we're going to make up a brass casing using some of our brass here. And I'm going to show you how to make the first brass machine under this automation. Then, as you can see, we can do this way. and it costs all 8 of those we just made, but these are expensive and we only get 2. Unlike the copper and the andesite, which will give us 8. So, we're going to make up a couple of these casings. And I'll show you how to automate it. As well as we're going to make up a bit more brass, as we're going to need that. So, I'm going to cook up some of this brass here. It doesn't matter that the water and the Lumazine are in there, it will still make the brass. Like so. So I can make more of these. I will be back in a minute. Never mind, I actually am done. So, here we go. Up there is where you would deposit a bunch of these, but I don't have very many of these. I only have 8, so I'm just going to put them here. And now I do not have the tunnels yet to make the loop work or the filter. So I'm going to do this by hand. We go see how we do it here. Instead of using 8, I can use 4, and I can do this twice. So it's going to come here. It's going to pound it. We're going to put... it's going to deploy a brass mechanism on top of it. Or a precision mechanism, sorry. Hit it again with the thing. We're going to stand here to catch it. We repeat this loop 4 times. So 4 of those mechanisms we made. So I'm going to stand here a minute, and I'll meet you guys back. Alrighty, so while we're at it, now we have ourselves a brass machine. Our brass machines, put inside a stone cutter, are going to give us, if you remember, we're making those alternators. So, let me find it here, there it is. It will actually give us different stuff. It's not the mechanical crafters I thought it was. Let me see how to do that again. But we do need to make a bunch of these. So I'll show you how to do the loop. I'll start another one, as we're going to need one to, for some reason I thought it was, even though I knew it was a precision. I'll look up how to do that again in a minute, the crafters, but here we go. We put one of these in, get the brass funnel, and it gives us 4 of them, so it's actually a good deal for putting 1 for 4. Now, this one's going to go on this side. It's going to go, the arrow there, you see that arrow there? It's going to go in the opposite direction, so right click with the chute, not the vault, but the chute itself. There we go. And anything that goes in there is going to go back into the vault. Now, we will need to make a filter as well. So we'll put the rest of those back for now. And let me make a list filter so you can see how to do it. If I can find the resource right there. We need 1 piece of wool. We need to tap into our iron supply, and we need to grab a piece of iron, turn it into some nuggets. Like so. Then, take 1 wool in the middle, and 2 iron on the right and left of that wool. The right and left of that wool. And get a list filter. Now, right click the list filter. A list filter allows you to filter items, so it only selects those specific items in those specific states. So we're going to take the brass machine. Then, because I don't have any on me, we're going to have it turned into not a deny list. We're going to turn it into a deny list, and we're going to have it respect data. That way, it only accepts incomplete versions. As you will see here in a minute, and it doesn't allow the brass machine in. I will later put andesite and copper machines in there as well. But if I put this down, throw this down, watch. Simply do this. Then it will deploy. Then it will hit it again. And it'll pop that back in. Pop it out the other side. There is a good visual glitch there, so you can't see it pop out, but it's there. See? there. But it won't allow the machine in. Now the mechanical crafters here, now we look up what they are again. Oh, that's why. So it's going to take one crafting table, one of those machines, and a brass casing in a smithing table. You get 3. You will need 21 or 27 of these. I think it's 21. So let me sleep, and I'll make those up, and I'll beat you back. Alrighty, guys. So I have these 8 brass casings. I have 8 crafting tables, and I have I have way more than that, 10 machines. I made up a bunch of the machines. That gives me 24 crafters, which I do believe is the amount we are going to need to make a full-size crafter. And we are going to go ahead and make a full-size crafter. So, if you follow along, you're going to put 1 down there. You're going to click the side of the crafters. You're going to shift-click the side of them so they go into each other. And you're going to do 3 like that. Now, you will need a barrel or something for these to go into, and they will need a cog to be powered by. But, on top here, as you can see, you can also right-click with the wrench to change the direction the arrows go. That will matter later. I have 2 incomplete zinc machines. I did this by accident. Now, we're going to put a cog here, as that's how we're going to power it. So, I did also make a grindstone, which is an andesite machine, andesite casing, and cobblestone. To get me, not grindstone, a millstone. Yep. As later on, that'll get me some food. I'll go into that in a bit. But now, we're going to stack on top of these 3 by clicking it. We're going to jump and we're going to click. Up 1, 2, 3. I'm going to repeat that. 1, 2, 3 from the first 3 we put. 2, 3. We're actually going to go, and then we're going to put 3 on the sides. And never mind, it's not 3, but it's actually 4 up. You will need to go. So, but I did it wrong, but that's okay. We have a mod in here allowing us to just reach up there. If I click properly, we'll do that in a second. Luckily, we can pull that out of the crafter. And that should be the full size. As you can see, it's this weird pattern here. And we still have 2 extra, because it gives us 3. Now, we will need some form of redstone signal, as it's a full-size crafter, and also it won't do automatically, so we're just going to put a button, which you don't want to click in there, or it puts it in there as an item, so you want to shift-click it on there, like so. And whenever we give this redstone power, and it has rotational energy, it'll work. So we're going to need that later on. So let's keep that there. Now we're also going to go, while we're here, we do need to go into the alternator, but we're also going to keep going down the Ars Nouveau, as we do need these imbuement chambers, which is 6 planks and 2 brass. This is why we made up the archwood, and this is why we made up extra brass earlier. So, knowing this, we're gonna make up some. I'm gonna roast up some more copper, as I'm gonna be using that a little bit too. So pop that in there. But knowing this is why we made up the Lumazine, and why I'm gonna continue making up some archwood using the Lumazine. Let it keep going, as we're gonna need a bunch of it. So let me make this up, and I'll meet you back. Alrighty, guys. So now we're gonna take 6 planks, like this, on either side, vertically. Then 1 brass top, 1 brass bottom. And we're going to get, so 2 brass and 6 points, and we're going to get an imbuement chamber. Excuse me. Now that we have this, we can start getting into ours. And we're actually going to use a lot of these to make these essences. As there is this recipe here, but we're going to use these recipes to get our early game essences. And there are 7 essences total that we need to make. They're all basic common items you can find. So if you look at the task menu, you see what they are, but you probably already have them. They're like mob drops and sugarcane stuff and stuff like that. Stuff you can find throughout the world. So I'm just going to gather up those resources, and we will make them. But we also can start an early game imbuement chamber. So, put the imbuement chamber there, and if we feed this lapis, or, which we don't have very much of, but we have a bit, or we feed it crystals, amethyst shards, it will make us source gems. So to do this, we're actually going to take a hopper, which is crafted with the 5 iron in a chest. To make it easier, because I could just right-click it, this will make it easier as I can load it up with a bunch of lapis. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to right-click one of the sides, hopper, or shift right-click. If you right-click, it falls that. There's no recipe, so. Then we're going to take a chest, put it on top. And this will be fast enough, as this is slower right now, but it will slowly convert it into a source gem. Alrighty guys, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode. We will get more into ours next time and start working towards building gadgets so we can do power and everything else. Please leave some comments, like and subscribe. If there's anything you think I could do better, please let me know. And until next time, good to see you guys again.